There was a time in my life when almost every challenge started with the same question: can I do it? And if the answer was yes, I was already halfway there. I've always believed that if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish almost anything. And I do still believe that within reason. But somewhere along the way, I discovered that getting older has a way of changing the question worth asking. Because maybe the most important question now isn't can I, maybe it's should I. And those two little words have changed the way I think about almost everything. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Leslie and welcome to my channel. I've recently retired, 66, and still very much figuring things out. I was widowed a few years ago, and somewhere in the middle of rebuilding my life, I built an online business alongside my state pension. This channel is where I share this chapter, and not the glamorous version, the real one. When I was younger, the question was always about capability. Can I do this? Do I have what it takes? Am I capable enough? And that's the right question when you're building, when you're establishing yourself and figuring out what you're made of. But at 66, after everything life has handed me and everything I've had to figure out on my own, I already know what I'm capable of. I've proved to myself more times than I expected to have to. The question that serves me better now is different. Should I? Not can I manage it, but is this the best use of what I have? My time, my energy, and my focus right now. Because time and energy are not infinite. They never were. But you feel that more acutely at this stage of life than you ever did at 35. And spending them on the wrong things actually has a real cost. And it's a cost you feel the next day and sometimes the day after that too, depending on what you decided you could do. And I want to talk about what that shift looks like in practice because I think it's particularly relevant for anyone building something online later in life. Because when I first came online, I said yes to almost everything. Every training, every webinar, every new tool someone recommended, every platform someone told me I should be on, and every strategy that looked promising. And I said no to all the other things in life. No to the Sunday afternoons out. No to going for lunch. No to going out for dinner. Because there was always something that I thought I should be focusing on my business. And ultimately, I was exhausted. Not because any one thing was too much, because it wasn't, but because the cumulative weight of it all was just unsustainable. And then I made a very silly decision. I spread myself too thinly across platforms, and I was on Facebook, I was on Instagram, I was on TikTok, and I was here on YouTube posting shorts. And eventually I was so overwhelmed, I was ready to give it all up. So it was a very valuable lesson there. And it really boiled down to, at the end of the day, that I wasn't building a business. I was collecting information and ticking boxes without ever really deciding what I was building or whether the next thing actually served that goal. The question I should have been asking and eventually did ask, but maybe I'm a bit of a slow learner sometimes, was not can I learn this or can I add this? It was should I? Does this move me towards what I'm actually trying to build? Does it fit in the life I want this business to give me? Or is this just something that looks useful and is keeping me busy without moving anything forward? There's always so many deals out there. There's always so much scarcity to entice you in. And the problem is, busy and productive are not the same thing. And you can be so busy with all of these things that you buy into. And the problem is, at this stage of life, I don't have the energy to waste on things that are merely going to keep me busy. There's a principle from the business world that you begin with the end in mind. The idea that better decisions come from knowing where you want to end up before you decide which direction to walk in. I think that idea becomes more valuable the older you get, not less. What kind of life do I want 5 years from now? What does a good day actually look like for me? And how do I want my time to feel? And what do I want my income to be doing for me? Which is very important. Not just how much of it, but what freedom does it give me? Once I got clear on those answers, the decisions became much more simple because I want mornings that are mine. And that doesn't mean to say that I might not be sitting here working at my laptop, but it's going to be my choice. If I've got something urgent to do, I can come here and do that. Or I can do my training, or I can go for a walk across the meadow. But ultimately, I want work that takes focused hours, not all day. And I want an income that sits alongside my pension that gives me choices. And I want to help people who are where I was 3 years ago, overwhelmed, uncertain, not sure if it's too late to start. That's the destination I'm looking for. And once I knew it clearly, everything I looked at, every new tool, every strategy, and every opportunity someone put in front of me, I could run it through one simple filter. And it's incredible how many times I've said no. Because the biggest question is, does this take me toward that goal that I have or away from it? Well, I've discovered that most things were taking me sideways, not towards or away. Just to the side, busy, not building. And sideways is where energy goes to die at 66. Trust me. And I want to be honest about what switching from can I do to should I has meant in practice. It's meant saying no to things that looked exciting but didn't fit. It's also meant walking away from opportunities that weren't bad. They just weren't mine, not at this stage. And it's really hard sometimes to keep saying no when someone's really tempting you in messaging you and trying to persuade you. But when it's not the version of what I'm building, I have to protect what I'm doing. And the biggest protection is of my 2 to 3 hours of focused work a day. Because those hours are where the actual building happens, and anything that bleeds into them that pulls my attention away costs me more than it appears on the surface. It's also meant being more honest about energy, about what fills me up and what drains me. And I hate to admit it, but 20 years ago, I had so much energy. Now I see a difference. And I also have to consider which conversations move things forward for me and which ones take time without giving anything back. And what it does save me is the exhaustion of chasing everything. When people reach out to me now, and I don't want to go through this long palaver of chit and chat backwards and forwards. Cut to the chase. Tell me what you're in my DMs for. Are you pitching me for something? Because that's a particular exhaustion, the one that comes from being busy without being purposeful. And it's something I don't miss at all. That's for sure. Cutting to the chase is the next best thing to say after should I. Because it's always worth remembering the future isn't created all at once. It is created one decision at a time. And if we don't choose those decisions intentionally, we can actually arrive somewhere we never meant to go. And then we think, how did we get there? So perhaps the question worth pondering today isn't what can I still do? Perhaps it's what choice today gives me the best chance of becoming the person I still want to be tomorrow. And I have to be honest, that is the question I'm asking now. And it's better than the one I started with. Drop in the comments, has your question changed as you've got older? I genuinely love to hear what you're asking yourself now that you, or what you weren't asking 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. I mean, it's amazing how things can change and how we can get clarity in a very short period of time. Now, if this video resonated with you, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and follow along with me on my journey. And if you're curious about the online business that I've built by asking should I rather than can I, the link is in the description below. Take a look in your own time, no pressure. Thank you for being here today, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.